Welcome to Jelaila's Weekly Messages. I'm Jelaila Starr. Today, the topic is the midterm elections in 2012. Now, before I get into that, just wanted to say hi to all of you out there that were at the Fort Pierce, Florida workshop, the 2012 Nibiru DNA and You, and to thank all of you for your attendance and for being the new grid workers who will hold that template in place. And for those of you who are not familiar with what I'm talking about, the template work we're doing is to help positively alter the ancient prophecies about earth changes, and the one involving the inundation of the southern Florida coast. If you know how to do template work, you can actually impact that event in the future by anchoring a blueprint, if you will, in the consciousness grid around the planet that allows for a different choice. Because as we understand, it is the consciousness of the people that can impact the physical part of the planet, because our emotional fields collectively connect to the emotional field of the planet, and whatever we're not clearing because of our beliefs will cause the planet to have to clear for us. And one of those will be a shifting of the tectonic plates in the Gulf, which could cause the plate underneath southern Florida to drop, and which would mean we'd be viewing Florida in a glass-bottom boat. So we don't want to do that. So if you know about these timelines and you know about these future events, which is what I was shown through what you would call remote viewing, because the past is the future. The future is the past repeated. I became aware of these future events through that timeline work, or that remote viewing work. And so I've been going around the country this year working on creating these templates or tweaking the ones already there to help ensure that they are strong enough to hold until those events are destined to take place. So anyway, there was 21 people who showed up for that workshop, which is about the right amount of people, and they understood. They were from all walks of life and levels of awareness. And it was a great workshop. And special thanks to Bill and Judy, my host and hostess, and their Crystal Center for Illumination, which is absolutely gorgeous, for being the place that we held this workshop. Now, okay, so that's the end of the 2012 workshops for this year. And the rest of the year, I'll be at home. There's another emotional clearing workshop, December 3rd through 5th. There is still time to sign up for that one. It'll be here at my house. When you go through one of these workshops, you really begin to understand the purpose and the need for emotional clearing, because that is your ticket to safety in the next couple of years. And after that, I don't know what next year will bring. It's kind of a blank slate, but I would tend to think we would end up working on Southern California, which we didn't work on this year, because that one is, that one's starting to really catch fire, so to speak. All right, so today's topic, the midterm elections. Now, some of you are not going to agree with this, and that's okay. I'm just giving a perspective. But my understanding is the impact of the midterm elections is going to be overall positive. And the reason being that, with Obama coming into office and this radical shift over to a socialist or unity consciousness that he's trying to create, we've gone from the extreme of capitalism and individuality to this other end of oneness and unity consciousness. But neither one is really what we want, because neither one has really worked. Ask the communist, it doesn't really work. And the socialist countries, it doesn't completely work. What would work is a balance of both. And from the ninth dimensional perspective, the Nibiruan perspective, is that, you don't get to that middle ground unless you go from one extreme to the other. And Obama's job was to take us to that other extreme. The midterm elections are the fulfillment of what the ninth dimensional Nibiruans told me back when the health care bill was passed. They said, don't worry about this. They said, by the time that bill takes effect, you're going to see a tremendous amount of a modification going on, because there's enough of the people over, say, 50, the baby boomers, still around, who grew up with capitalism and individuality, that they're going to speak up and say, whoa, wait a minute, let's kind of modify this. And I thought, okay, well, that's good. But then the midterm elections are how that actually was fulfilled, because we had enough Republican conservative seats that had been Democrat. There had been enough seats in Congress that had been Democrat that now became, or states that were Democrat that now became Republican. It wasn't a majority, but it was enough to create a force, if you will. Like the Republicans now become a balancer for the Democrats. So it's like you've got this move toward unity consciousness, but now there's a governor on it. There's like a modifying force. So what that will do is we'll see that the Democrats and the ones pushing for unity have to compromise with the ones holding on to individuality and personal rights. So in a way, I see two things happening. The health care bill will become a blueprint for how to create new balanced systems that have both unity and individuality in them, so that we can have something that serves the people without having to give up all our individual rights. And those are the type of systems that we want to create. So the health care bill could become the blueprint for all these other systems to be created, which is, part of this new reality that we're all working toward. So, you begin to see it manifest, materialize, and that's kind of exciting. And the other thing is that Obama, his purpose for being there, and there's a lot of people who've become disenchanted by him. They think he's betrayed them. Well, I think he hasn't betrayed us. I think that he's having to make some compromises himself on what he came here to do in order to survive, because there are the powers that be out there that, could eliminate him if he goes too far. So I think he's pretty smart. He's learning to play both sides. But I think that overall, history will show that he was the one he may not be the one to bring in all these new systems, but he will certainly have started, the process of bringing in these new systems. So with the new Republican representation in our government acting as a compromising force, along with Obama still moving toward that socialistic or unity consciousness, I think we're now beginning to see how the future that we wanted to create is going to be able to manifest. So I think it's all good in the long run, and we have plenty of reasons to hope and be excited. So that's it for today. I hope that you have an amazing week, and I will talk to you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.